As the frustrations of sitting in the Metropolitan Detention Center, the federal lockup there in downtown LA, probably starts to wear on Bricc Baby and all those guys, tensions are boiling, and Bricc Baby said something in a phone call.
Hey, what's that big old deal, man? It's the Bricc, man. Why everybody laid up with their feet up out there vacationing, playing like they ain't got nothing for the kids, man. You already know we still keeping it strong. Nigga don't need nothing from. Hey, sometimes it be a mental test to see where a nigga hard at in his chest, man. You know what I'm saying? A motherfucker use you, abuse you. As soon as you get out the way, they act like they ain't worried about losing you. You know what I mean?
Adam-22 seems a little overly touchy, didn't like, so he blasted back.
Okay, so if you didn't catch it, this is a thinly veiled shot at the 22 stir. I was on vacation. I did have my feet kicked up. But let's talk about Bricc Baby, and in particular, the financial side of my relationship with the Bricc, not the trick. When Bricc Baby came on the platform 2 years ago, pretty quickly, the feds ran up in his crib and raided him. He needed money to get out. Now, it's been discussed at length that I fronted him an amount of money, $5,000, so that he could get out the same day that he was picked up. I know Whack 100 and a few other people have been spreading information saying that this was cap. I don't know. Honestly, the other day in the Reddit, somebody posted information saying that he really did have a bail and that was where the $5,000 went. I never really heard about it. I heard rumors in the streets that maybe this money was not required for him to be bailed out, that he didn't have a bail. But I did see these screenshots in the Reddit that make it seem as if he did have a bail. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I gave him the money, had to get him back out on the streets. I knew that he had potential. I knew that I could take him from being a marginal figure in the LA podcasting space to being one of, if not the most talked about person in the podcasting space, which is exactly what has happened.
Now, what is the responsibility of a person, an employer, or even a friend or something to somebody? My thing is, if you go to jail for a crime and I wasn't part of it, like you were doing stuff and not giving me any of the money, why am I supposed to put up a bunch of money to bail you out or to give you large chunks of money while you're locked up? Apparently, according to Adam-22, Bricc Baby wants to be continued to pay his weekly salary. And all along, once the pandemic ended and the massive uptick in minutes watched was going down, I thought, because again, I did a similar thing. I had a building, I had some different people. Obviously, I didn't get anywhere like No Jumper. But I realized it's very easy to spend money and it's cool and you got a building and stuff's going on, but like how much money is really being generated? And all those people he has now working, you see they're falling off one by one, and him saying that No Jumper's going to go bankrupt or is bankrupt. He played a game of having all that edgy stuff going on up there. He's certainly at risk for some lawsuits at the least, and I'm sure he probably wants to get rid of employees. And in a business where, like, let's say you're making, I don't know, $100,000 a month or $300,000 a month in No Jumper. Well, if you have $310,000 a month in expenses, you just lost money, right? If you have $260,000, well, you made $50,000. A 20% change in your expenses changes you from making a lot of money to wasting all that time and being in debt. So he's going to be only letting people come on there that probably basically their payment is you get exposure. If Bricc Baby was getting paid all these years, he did good. He was making money. It was kind of funny, Adam complaining about $2,000 or something. Even if I didn't feel like I owed it to somebody, someone I knew and was working with and was even half, I mean, they're around each other quite a bit, so they must be somewhat friendly. I would feel bad about mentioning that when a guy's facing all that prison time, but This is why mixing people that's living two different kind of ways, legal and street, people like to jump over both sides of the fence, and that goes vice versa for the street people that want to dabble with legal people. If one person's legal and one person's living a different way, they're not gonna deal with situations in the same manner. Why would they? They have different value system, different lifestyles. I'm curious and interested to see what the hell a lot of these podcasts, but No Jumper specifically, will do now that there's definitely gonna be. There's already been a lot of people who have gone to jail and they've used things they said on social media against them. But this case with the whole, all the stuff around Bricc Baby, Loose Cannon, Big U, really anyone with some sense is going to say, boy, I better watch what I say, especially when you realize you could be talking about crimes whose statute of limitations is long past, but they could be used as predicate acts to say, oh, well, yeah, like the RICO thing is spooky because they can take old events and connect them to more recent and current events and say, oh, this is an ongoing criminal thing. So there'll be a real pall, or there'll be less people willing to talk. But you know, you can't blame, for the most part, the podcasters, the people with the platforms, because people go on there, you know, hoping it's their chance to make some money, to hit it big. In the case of Bricc Baby, as far as what we see in the paperwork from Big U and his indictments, Bricc Baby was hitting licks on people. If you were willing to do that, why wouldn't you go on the internet and talk, right? I mean, to make money. So, and then Adam has some very strong words for Sharp.
Keep in mind, Bricc and Sharp have had a weird relationship over the years, because when we fell out with Sharp, Bricc talked hella shit about him on the platform and then basically continued to be friends with him to some extent, which I always thought was a little strange. But either way, I mean, to me, this is just a completely invented Sharp narrative as far as I know. It's kind of odd that he would know about this and I wouldn't know about this. But let's keep going.
You know, to a lot of you dummies, because it went to prove, because everybody was screaming, oh, they're going to be out on Wednesday. No, they're not. I knew it when it came to the bail hearing and how things play. Like, that is just, they're just giving them that. Now you got to appeal it. And then, you know, to hear, you know, Buzz calling, you know, Adam, he ain't answering, or whatever the case may be. He's calling people and they not picking up. Now they're avoiding him. Why is that? Boy, why ain't you answering Bricc calls?
Another Cap Sharp narrative. I have not been ducking any phone calls, and keep in mind that his baby mama has been in communication with me, talking to me, telling me what time Bricc was going to call and everything. But every time that I got on the phone with Bricc, it's been like 2 or 3 minutes of conversation, and then he gets kicked off because I guess he's only allowed to be on the phone for 10 minutes at a time. Never at any point, until I was in Turks and Caicos, like right before that other video clip came out, did Bricc even utter something that mentioned or inferred that he thought that he should be getting in any way some money from us. So to me, I'm gonna be real with you, I just feel like this is some hoe ass shit. No offense, Bricc, I don't really want to use the hoe word when it comes to you or anything, but how are you gonna be out here communicating shit like this to Sharp and not having the nuts to say it to me? And in addition to that, I mean, let's be real about the relationship between an employer and a worker. If Bricc had asked me in the beginning, Adam, if I get locked up, will you bail me out? Will you pay for my lawyer, etc.? My response early on probably would have been like, no. Like, I would prefer to not take our relationship to that extent. Like, that's just not something I really go into business with someone being prepared to do. It does leave a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth to realize that Bricc is comfortable having conversations about me to Sharp, but won't have that same conversation to me. Like, if you want to borrow money, you can ask me.
Remember, Sharp is a guy that went on, he got his profile up from going on Soft White Underbelly, where he was popular, And I would imagine Adam-22 reached out to him. I generally don't. Anyone I'm ever friends with or I'm around a lot, unless they're weird, I'm always somewhat cool with them. I can't imagine talking that bad about somebody that I used to spend that much time with, but it could get frustrating. I mean, he said Sharp will be back in Las Vegas trafficking women because he can't pay his rent. I mean,
I would easily, gladly open up our books and let everybody see the fact that we paid Bricc for exactly the amount of time that he was on the podcast. So this is ridiculous. This is just totally fake. Sharp, again, basically a bum at this point. He's on the verge of homelessness. He's going to go back to Vegas and continue his sex trafficking career at the truck stops in Vegas. And apparently he's just trying to get one little tiny moment of clout by calling me out. His YouTube channel is in the fucking dirt.
And these are guys that once upon a time, Sharp is the one that when AD and them left, he refused to go and said, I'm saying it, I'm down with no jumper and, all that. And in the end, what did it get him? He's back apparently with no dough. And whether that's true or not, who knows? And Adam talking bad about him. But the lesson, if you're watching this, realistically, if you're doing criminal stuff, like if Bricc Baby worked at a landscaping company and caught some case, would you expect the landscaper to keep paying him while he's in jail? Probably not. Now, there is on the other side, you could say, well, Adam's definitely making money talking about Bricc Baby. As a matter of fact, if there was no Big U case, if Bricc Baby wasn't in jail, what would they be talking about? I mean, that's like a big chunk of their content, and they have the right to do that. I mean, it's in the news, it's public information. But so do you guys think podcasting, at least in our demographic of where street stuff it went from, I was always talking about street stuff of the past. And when it went into people talking about current event street stuff, seemed kind of risky. And as we see, it came out badly. But what do you think about? I will say this too: to be someone who makes a lot of money, to be an actual businessman, business person, you do have to have like a asshole-ish personality, because you will fritter you have to really watch all the money, because remember, $1 million is $1,000 1,000 times. So a person has $1 million in the bank is very easy. Oh, I need a band. Well, 1,000 ain't shit. I got $1 million. You do that too many times, you've given all your money away. In each increment, you didn't really notice. So, and also, I think Adam makes his money off the PORN, really. No jumper, that content on there, they get a lot of views, it makes a lot of money, but there's a bunch of people up there. He's paying a rent. Like, I know how much I make. He has, I think he's at 25 million views, so he might get eight times, well, he has other income stream. He has the Instagram too, but let's just say on YouTube he might get 8 to 10 times more views than me. But there's, I don't know how many people are working there. 10 people plus several. I edit. I mean, I'd pretty much do everything. I have different of my friends and stuff that help me behind the scenes, and if it makes some money, they get some money, but pretty much it's me usually. When I did have people working for me, more so cameramen, different people, it was fine, but then it becomes a job. Like, you have to, when you tell somebody they work for you, like, you can't just use them when you feel like it. I mean, so now you're waking up like, oh shit, I got the camera guy coming. Let me make sure I got something to do for him. Because I'm not an asshole. If I told you to come up here Tuesday at 2 p.m., even if I was slacking, I was like, oh, I don't really feel like doing what I had him come up here to do, I'm still going to do something, or even just make some busy work for him and pay him, because I remember being young and work when we worked at Burger King at the mall, Oakland Mall. We had to catch the damn, first we had to catch the 6 Mile bus to John R. to get on the SEMTA to go way out to Oakland Mall. You're making like, I don't know, $6, $7 an hour. And they would have you scheduled for, say, 6 hours. But if you got there and it was slow, they were like, oh, don't clock in. But you can get a free pop and sit out in the, in the dining room and drink your free pop. And then when it gets busy, so you might sit there an hour and a half. So you rode the bus 45 minutes to an hour, and you sit for an hour and a half to work 4.5 hours to make $30. So, seven. Oh, then you got to ride the bus back. So it was like 8 hours to make $30. So I didn't want to be like that. So as I trimmed away people, or just started doing stuff myself, talking into these phones we have cost $1,200. Like, these phone cameras are better. I wouldn't shoot a movie on this phone, but this ain't no movie. This is me talking. So, and you see Adam said he's going to revitalize his own channel. You'll probably see him trim down, and we'll see if his own personality can carry stuff. But having people, he's had such a run of this one comes up there, and then they fall out. He had that Armenian G-face guy. Like, just all this succession of, like, and it's not his, these are adults. They're participating. So, he's not the bad guy, but interesting how, even though working together with Sharp and Bricc Baby for so long, how he could just have such negative things to say about them in public like that. But maybe that's the kind of attitude or the kind of personality you have to really accumulate a lot of money. You got to be ruthless. You can't worry about friendships, relationships, being nice. You got to be able to throw people under the bus, maybe, and maybe they got it coming. I don't know. But have you guys been noticing, like, does the podcasting already seem different? Are people in this street genre, are people watching what they say on the interviews? Is it less exciting? And who's in the wrong? Is it Adam-22 or Bricc Baby? Do you think Adam should be paying Bricc Baby a weekly salary while he's in there? I know he did mention that, we're going to document this whole journey and make a documentary out of it. Well, if they're doing that, I would hope he's kicking them a little bit of money. As far as a lawyer, guys will tell you, especially when it comes to those Fed cases, but even sometimes state cases, if you can get a mega, like the greatest lawyers, they can get you out of stuff. But for the most part, if they came in your house and you had these and that guns and your fingerprints were on it and you're on camera doing this, it's hard to get out of it. So the federal public defender may negotiate the same plea agreement that a paid-for attorney would. Sometimes those paid-for attorneys are just a waste of money because the case is the case. But what do you think? Should Adam be paying Bricc Baby while he's locked up? And what about how he talked about Sharp? That was his man at one point. I don't understand how you could work that closely with people and then just go into just talking bad in public about people. Like, even if I fell out with somebody, I would keep it, off the internet. It just seems for adult males to be, but I guess that's the nature of what this show is. And you can't say you don't like it, because if you're watching this and you're familiar with all the things I'm talking about in No Jumper, you must watch it and find it entertaining. So, that type of content wouldn't be being made if people didn't respond to it. So, free to break, not to trick. And what do you think? Should Adam be paying him while he's locked up? Is Adam the bad guy, or is this just business the harsh realities of business, how profit American don't.